Hello, everybody, and welcome to Let's Be Now. You can probably hear Adriana playing music in the background. I think it's the last birthday card we got, but she'll come in and make an appearance in a bit.
Good. You know what I did? I hooked this all up, but I didn't even do the mic here.
Oops.
That's okay. I'm sure all you can hear me at home. I got a new mic and I forgot to hook it up. So let's hope the one on the computer works just fine here. So yes, welcome to Let's Be Now, guys. Sorry about our huge hiatus that we took. Lots going on between business and health and life in general. But we're all caught up as much as we can be. So we're back here with you folks. Eager to get on more guests. We have a lineup of guests that we will be having on here. Also answering a lot of your questions out there. So thank you. Keep them coming. For those of you who are on our Facebook page, a very special thank you to all of you who have been posting yourself, have been answering questions, asking questions, really made the Let's Be Now community work. And it's beautiful. Sharon and I and Noah were just talking prior to coming on here on how well all of our busy bees are doing. So thank you, little busy bees, for pollinating when we can't do that. We absolutely appreciate that. And once again, if you want to get on the show, just let us know and we'll figure that out. We do have some awesome guests that we're hoping to get on in these next few clips here that Noah, Adriana, and Sharon had just met this weekend. And I know Noah is really excited to talk about this weekend, actually. So tell us what happened this weekend. Inform us on everything that went on.
Noah, are you going to talk about it? You want Mom to talk about it?
And I just asked him two questions at once. So
well,
it's like,
so Mom can open it. Yep, Mom can open it. And then
yes. Laugh out loud, he says.
Yeah. So give us a little opener, Mom.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple of videos on the Let's Be Now Facebook. The one that I call is a big one. It's an hour-long video. It was supposed to be Noah's healing session, which it is. Noah's working his energy healing, but then also Adriana is. And her vibe, a lot different from Noah's. I hate to say she's noisier, but she is. She has sound. But the best part of it, the connection she made was with James, and he was able to translate and what do you call it? Download, whatever Melissa did. He's like the male form of Melissa. It was really cool. He came into light language when she would stop. He would explain when she would lean back and she would be quiet. And he's like, now she's processed. Oh, yeah, this is going to be all jumbled because I'm just really excited. This is why they don't let me talk very much. So he was watching her jump into the other realms, and that's the kind of thing that, Noah will probably send directly to Melissa, and she can explain a little bit more. But while Joe was filming, he realized, it was like when Melissa was chasing Adriana through the realms, couldn't catch her. We saw the physical side of it while they were going through what we would say, the mental side, or the part we can't see. And James stopped at one point, and he's like, it's not that I wasn't invited, but I knew I wasn't supposed to follow her into this other realm. And he saw beyond, and I'm getting the chills on this one because he's like, she goes to this other place beyond, but I knew she would be back. And so they just had this really nice connection where I knew a lot of it wasn't word. Because he had also said, well, she doesn't have a word for that. And then he would try to explain it. And that happened a couple of times. And it was just beautiful. So you have that video to watch. There's a few other things that come in through there that's interesting towards the end. But the next day where we did not video, it was his meditation session. And I've never had Adriana in one because I didn't know if she would be able to be still. Well, her voice stayed at a nice level. Sometimes it would be the sing-songy ABC, but in the video he explains, well, that was her just reminding us in a simple way that things have to be in an order, or that they're on a schedule and that kind of things. And every time he would say something like that, she would just smile and smile at the camera, and people noticed that. And so I learned, because I always thought it was, okay, here's the autism, here's the energy, and it still all flowed. So it's going back to, is it really autism or is it the energy? And they are really just expressing themselves different. Just like flipping the channels on the TV, and we compare that to Bumblebee and the radio. Noah's doing that more and more, and so is Adriana. And it's really just watching all of that. So it's just a lot to learn. And then there was Noah with his connection, Cecilia, and he did some super healings on her. We did not get a video because a lot of that would be almost inappropriate, because he is doing what he needs to do to connect through the body. And but she is excited to be one of our next guests, because she was telling her story all weekend. It was her first show. She does tarot card readings, but she was a little nervous because she said source or spirits don't always come in on time. And of course, during a show, you need them to be on time. So after the first was it 2 sessions, Noah? Yeah, there were 2 sessions. I'm like, I think Noah may have just taken care of that for you. And then I think it was a 3rd session. He went over and did some healing on her, working on her body while she was with a client. And I thought, okay, I wonder if that's distracting. Well, she was able to explain to them that he was her helper for the day. And they got this super session, and everyone was like, she didn't miss a beat. So she had an audience. Noah had an audience on that. And it was just amazing.
That's awesome. I was wondering what Noah was bragging about to me, but you made it make a lot of sense, because he was jumbled, and in telepathy, we also get excited, but we're also pointing out a lot more and whatnot. So I know over the weekend, he had said that he had met someone new, and he had facilitated mediation between different guides and a human. And I did not understand what he was talking about, but I get it now that you're saying, okay, so because he's like, see, Melissa, this is just what I did. So he was showing me a little bit more while you were talking. So Noah was just speaking through telepathy with me during that conversation that Sharon was speaking in. And what he was actually saying was that she was having a little bit of problems with her doubt and her worthiness, and that this is something new that maybe other family members hadn't done or other people hadn't done. She doesn't have a lot of resources around her where a lot of people are doing this. It was something that she was really called to. And I do see that it's from a past life, so it hasn't been integrated into this life yet. So there was a calling where she tapped into an old oracle of herself, and then must have in this life, oh, okay, well, I'm doing some oracle stuff, or I need to. I don't see she's been doing it for that long, maybe 3 years or so, from what he's showing. So, and I don't know if that's 3 years in training, or 3 years is when she kind of started opening up more, or there was something there. However, she keeps going into that old life for the connections in this life, and wanting that same exact feng shui is the word that's coming. So take that however you want, but the feng shui of it was not working. Like things weren't set up in the mind or in the body or in the spirit properly enough for the guides to come in and speak to her. So what Noah was actually doing was he was going by her, and he was holding space in different places, and then just kind of moving little things around on her body so that it would be aligned, so that it could activate nicely, or that it could get more information in that way. I also see that he was working on getting new connections with old people. So the new connection in this life, but with the guides that she used to have and guides that she does have now. So not really relying, when she's saying something like the guides don't always come in, it's because they were on a different timeline. So that was why she wasn't able to talk to them right now. So he did a lot of working on that so that it started coming more natural and that she gets her worth and her confidence and that she is aligned with the guides that she needs in this lifetime as well as the old lifetime. And we don't have to have that waiting time anymore. So
And that was exactly it. He came to her in a dream that night because we'd talked about it. We talked all day, but he was going to her the first day. Second day, she kept coming over to us, as well as her husband. They kept thanking us or thanking Noah, because in the dream she had Egyptian headdress on, like she was some kind of Egyptian royalty, getting the chills. And Noah was still doing the sessions at her feet. So they had connected back then. It was the guy. That's exactly, what you were saying about that. So she was so excited. And a couple of times there were different people that came over that work with pyramids. And I didn't know there were pyramids in Kentucky that people don't talk about. And so I learned a whole bunch of stuff while we were down there. So it's like, oh, you need to connect with this person. So I'm like physically connecting the people that he already brought there. But
yes. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what does Adriana have to say about the whole thing?
Adriana, come here. You're up. I'll talk for good. Here she comes. I know she's going to come. Come here. Where are you going to come in? Over this side or over here? Why don't you come over this side? Come over this side.
She is so excited. All right, sit down.
She has been a chatty Cathy and very patient and calm this weekend. Hey, Adriana. How are you doing? So we're bringing Adriana into here. Oh, and right away, she just starts in with, I have so much to say. So for those who are watching the podcast at home, Adriana just sat down, closed her eyes immediately, and just started talking. She's continuing to talk and very excited. She when she gets excited and has things that make sense, or that she does this chin touch to her mom of just, okay, mom, that's right. Or just so you know, yep, I'm taking over. So she's coming over to sit down, and Adriana would like to speak a little bit of telepathy right now and tell the world about what she has to say. Now, her and Noah are on a little bit of different connections. Are you wanting? Sorry, Sharon, can you fill in a little bit? Explain it for them.
Actually, that's perfect. Yeah, perfect intro, because Adriana hasn't made as many connections as Noah has. She's 22 much younger. So we'll start it there. We always kind of saw them as Irish twins. Noah is 24, Adriana is 22. So when she connected with James, he just connected with her. He didn't connect with Noah. And usually if they'll connect with Adriana, well, not usually, the ones that have connected with Adriana have also connected with Noah, because these have been very powerful people. You'll hear me talk about, well, of course, Melissa, and then Caitlin, and then Jenna is what I call the third one that they have to get together and meet in person. I know some of them, some have talked on the phone. But yeah, so, and he even mentioned she's on a different frequency, and I thought, well, that makes sense. And then she speaks more with animals, and so I started thinking, okay, that's a different frequency. And then there's horses. She connected with a horse, and Noah doesn't talk about it, so I don't know how that works. But are you ready to talk with Melissa now? Did I ramble on enough? Yes, of course I did.
Well, no, you gave me just enough time. Sorry, guys, I'm doing this podcast while running a store. So my daughter's here helping me out, and we didn't have price tags apparently on some things. So, all right, Adriana. Well, Adriana might have already said it. She's like, I already said what I had to say, but let me speak for you here, Adriana.
Just sit here.
Yep, charge.
These are your words coming out of Melissa.
And
I know. Isn't that cool?
Okay. So Adriana said, it was really great this weekend. It was a whole different vibe than I've ever had before. I seem to connect a lot more with people that I haven't had the ability to connect with before. That's okay. She's walking away. She already said what she already had to say. She left me the mind message. It's fine. but she said, I connected with people that I haven't connected with before, people who don't even know themselves, but know who they are as a human, which is really interesting because she's showing that they were very actually powerful on the other realm. But they know who they are as a human, but don't understand who they are in those other realms. So she said, it's really my time right now to start writing books and to start doing healings and to start doing messages for the people. I really enjoy doing readings, and I really enjoy especially sitting and doing energy work with my brother. And we just had started this about 2 weeks ago, my first time working with him, and him and I have worked together in the realms of humanity before, or we bounce off of each other, but never in the Trinity code, meaning that there's me and him and one other person to work with. We ended up having a brief moment that we got to share with Melissa, but my experience this week was even more than that. Once he started facilitating it, and once, and she even says she facilitated it by getting the people there. He facilitated by starting the energy. Then she came back in to do more energy. And she said, I am ready to teach classes. I'm ready to do more and to expand. And I wish that my body would be able to sit as well with my mind. But if we could have, so she wants to do a podcast on her own. And she says, but can we do the podcast with me standing? Because she would actually like to stand back and forth, and she'll come in and let us know, and then she'll leave when she needs to leave. But she said, with the amount of people and with the expressions, now I don't know what she means by that, but we're just she's saying expressions, and she's showing me lots of different ways, but that's the word that she's using with the expressions and the people, meaning that she got the affirmation, meaning that she also sees, she's showing me the whole scan of the place that they were at, that you guys were at, and showing that everybody had a calm demeanor. Everybody was like where they needed to be. There were maybe 3 people that weren't meant to be there all weekend long, but for the most part, it was everybody was there, which was able to amp her up. Now, she says, when I get amplified, though, it's almost more like somebody that gets ADD, because the more that I have that the energy is right, or that the energy is set within the existence of humanity, she doesn't have to worry, and she doesn't have to go through so many things. So what she does is she's able to go further and go beyond places, which actually calms her down, which brings her back to a place of, okay, well, my body is safe, so I'm free to go and roam somewhere else. And she's actually she's showing me that when her and Noah work together, that it's almost like she can take an extra leap to another universal place, but she can't stay too long. He holds that place for her. So she's saying he holds a place. It's almost like they found, so she's saying like, he holds a place where the loophole in the system is. So it's almost like Noah's watching, like no one's coming, you're okay. And then she went out. So she's saying outside of whatever happened, she went further this weekend than she's been able to, and because she felt safer. And so therefore she now was able to come back into this reality. And as a whole, it has really settled her down and really calmed her down. And she says that she feels more secure in herself and less calm. So she's showing that she hasn't had as many outbreaks since this weekend, or they haven't been as big, because she said she was able to align herself a little bit more. So tell me how she's been since this weekend.
Yeah, it's actually been a lot calmer. We thought it was going to be, well, yesterday, very calming, being such big energy over the weekend. So it was just resting up until gym time. The only thing with the gym is they had remodeled over the weekend. We knew it. So walking in the room, it was, one of those, just with her. And then she quickly settled in, got into routine. She ran a lap. I mean, different things at the gym got, back adjusted, where normally after a busy weekend, get back to the gym, that kind of thing, overwhelming. But we're definitely seeing her working more, and you can see it on her face. When you were here and you were able to explain the jumps and things that she was doing, you can see that in the hour-long video. And the nice thing is James was explaining the same thing, and he's seeing the same thing. And then when she went to that extra one, it's like, I wondered if that was like her own secret place or something that she went, because he's like, it wasn't that I wasn't invited, but I knew I wasn't supposed to go. So he waited, and she came back, and she just smiled. And I noticed people that have watched the video that leave comments, they're like, it's just great. You can see her expression, that she knows that he understands her, that people get her. And that's the big thing. She'll always type to people is, you get me, and so she's just happy the whole time. And yeah, and excited to be on the podcast again too, because she's just walking around and she's trying to be quiet. But like I said, even though she was talking, it wasn't loud. It was just a nice, soft, and it's like, wow, that's huge control for her. Yeah.
Well, and it sounds like it lasted her. It wasn't just a weekend thing. I've been having all of these issues, and lots of spirits and lots of things have been coming in a way that I have not been able to channel or defend them in a way that's comfortable for me. But whatever, between all the people that held space for her this weekend, it was almost like she was able to go outside of her body to diagnose her body and heal herself, but also able to be like, well, what I need isn't in this universe. I'm gonna go out there a little bit, and I'm gonna bring it back, because she's saying that she, like, whatever it is that she did stabilized her, but for a while.
Yeah, she had an eye doctor appointment today. I just forgot about that. That was huge. It went so smoothly, I didn't even think about it. But she talked to the doctor with a card. She got on my phone, and she introduced herself, because it was a new doctor. The other doctor had moved. It was a new person that took our information ahead of time, and she did all of that. And it's like, yes, definitely. She was a lot calmer. And when it looks like she's getting overwhelmed, I remember you're like, oh, just one at a time, and I'll remind her, and she'll do that. Or if it's acknowledgement, because she'll point to something. And we were trying to figure out if she's pointing for them to go away or just want you to acknowledge. And so I acknowledge, and then she smiles and she goes on. She'll grab my chin like, yes, Mom, you got it. And that's all she needs. It's like, this is so simple. This is where I want to help the other parents, because if other kids are doing this, it's like, wow, that's just really, really cool to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we definitely have to get on a lot. I mean, so much has happened since our last show. Wow. So we ended up, I went to Indiana, and we met quite a few people there. I met quite a few people. Sharon had already known them, so let's not lie, Melissa, right? But no, we had our bingo night at the CBD place in Indiana, and met a lot of people that had autism. And what I found was interesting, and of course we know this, right? We know that everybody's different. Everybody functions differently, and so does every human being. What was really interesting was, at any given time, though, all of them could hop on the same channel, and they were connected, and they were having their own moment, their own conversation. And it almost seemed as though they lost their identity of one, and of each individual, and became one. So that was really neat to see and to observe. Another was to just see the different levels and reactions, I guess would be the best way to say, that each one of them were at, and how each one of them communicate is amazing too. But we really do need to get those parents and those kids on here and start talking about behaviors. I have been in contact with a few of them still, and then some. And also thank you, all of you out there who have been making the connections. Also, I know we've been getting personal messages and emails and whatnot, that you guys want some help with your children or loved one, friends, have questions. And, you know, Sharon and I have had this conversation so many times. How do we have somebody learn telepathy, learn, you know, the communication that facilitated communication that Sharon does? And I promise, guys, it's still in our thoughts. We're really trying to work on that question and how to get that answer to you. I know that it can be taught. I know it can be taught. And there's not a single cell in my body that tells me, no, you can't. This wasn't something that I just started overnight. I know that I put in a lot of work, and I know Sharon put in a lot of work so that we could learn this, but we do want to teach these techniques. We do want to hold classes. I will say this too, because we get a lot of parents, you know, that come and they're frustrated because they can't do the facilitated communication, or they can't do the telepathy, and vice versa. Sharon and I, we flip. I cannot, like, facilitated communication is not my thing. She's picking up a little bit on the telepathy though. So that's good. But I will say that same thing with her and what I've said, and I'll say to anyone. And this goes with psychic abilities, like intuition, any intuitive ideas, prophecies, that kind of thing. The closer that you are to something, the harder it is to achieve or to see what you want to see. And so a lot of times it takes you becoming an outsider to be an insider. And best way to say it is, I mean, if I have my hand and I stick it an inch from my face, you know, I can't see the lines. I don't know where my fingers or my hand is, but the further and further and further that I bring it away, the more I can see all the wrinkles and the lines in my hands and my fingers and whatnot. And the more I'm going to be able to identify the further it is away. And realistically, people are like that too. It's hard for us to intuitively check into our loved ones or to know exactly what they're saying, what they're thinking, what they're doing, what their spirit is saying. Just because if we knew all of that, then we would probably want to change it. We would probably want to help. We would take away lessons. We would probably want to control a little bit more, guide a little bit more, and that's not up to us. So know that it might take somebody outside to be able to be the one to talk to and facilitate and to understand your loved one, but also know that we can teach, we can train these techniques, and we're going to do our best, folks. We're going to do our absolute best. But it is going to be something that is going to be set aside on a day that we have sat down and really finally detailed everything. And
So
Noah's
Noah,
already
yeah.
excited. Noah says, I already got the class in mind. I just need you guys to catch up with me. So I guess Noah and I need to have a deep conversation, and then we'll get into that. But one thing that I another thing that I noticed is that, yeah, I mean, everybody had these different, now I'm going to say actions, but I mean,
Yeah, they do.
in the world
do.
of, they'd be called behaviors if
Yeah.
you were in
Or
medical.
be a tick, or
but,
it'll be, because a lot of, I'll see this and it's like, those are my people. Those are the
Yes.
ones I can type with instantly. I don't know how I do it exactly, but that's where I have to be hands-on and I can teach it. But there is that energy component that happened later. And so that's where it's like, okay, if you do energy and you have an autistic child, it's like, okay, can get you together, but we can work on the board. But those are the ones, it's that body control, because I was feeling for muscle movement. But then you got Noah, who doesn't have that, and he writes beautifully, but it's still that mind body connect. So there's all kinds. And then you've got, Scar, who's only 12. So, but he's been spiritually connected for a long time. His
Oh,
mom
yeah.
was. So it's just hard. We're at different levels coming in, or not even just coming in, it's different levels of letting the parents know,
Yeah.
just opening up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what's really cool, so Noah introduced me to Scar really before I even met Scar.
Mhm.
And then I had spoken to his mother also, and met her on Zoom. Did not meet Scar yet, did a channeling for him, and then did meet Scar with you. While we were doing the bingo thing, he was paying attention to pretty much everything else, not in a mode to speak through that telepathy. But Noah and I did go to meet him later, which was a phenomenal meeting. He is very animated. Very much a conductor of energy, and he is like water for spirits. I mean, they are in and out all the time. And Noah was really, I mean, Noah and I were all the time talking and together, but Noah actually has moved a little bit to the side, and actually said, help him. He's this little kid. I need you to help him. And I thought that was really interesting because Scar's been coming in my head a lot more than Noah's been coming in. And Noah will, and I will actually be there. And then he'll say, okay, we have to talk. Or Noah's even speaking with him, and he has been working a lot with him too. So even sometimes we'll all three come in, which is really interesting in the head, let me tell you. And also Scar loves to tattle. So we know everything about his life. I'll write his mom and say, oh, he told on you, and whatnot. So no, it's fun. He's actually really, Scar's working not only to get himself into check, but he is really working to get, his mom and who he calls dad, in check too. So, it's been interesting dynamics, just being able to work with all different families and different things, but they all come together. And I love them because it's almost like they all just know who needs to talk more, who needs to work more. And so kind of shuffle. Kyle's even shown up now. And so he showed up actually on a day his mom and him were watching TV. And he had talked to me and said, I'm ready. And I had wrote her, and he had actually told her, I'm ready now. And we made the connection. So, Noah is definitely in that connection with him. And Noah also is wanting more, he is wanting more people. He's wanting a lot more people, and he is doing a lot, but also he's wanting people to take responsibility for their own self and to learn this, so that he's not always in that interdimensional place. I was working and talking to them and whatnot.
Yeah, I really noticed him helping other people, because besides just Cecilia, he went over to a medium that was working with a lady, and he started working on, it was the client. And I'm like, are you okay? And the medium had already connected a few shows. He's like, no, it's very powerful. And they were working on something. And all of a sudden the woman just started crying. And I thought, oh, what happened? And he's like, no, that's what she needed. It was just that one final piece. He was there like, 2 minutes? There's 2 or 3 minutes. And it's like, he did what he needed, what they needed. And they're like, thank you, Noah. It was very cool, because he just goes from person to person and gives them what they needed. The other thing was Cecilia. He said she was very grounding for him, which was a little bit new for him, because as he was working on her, she was healing him. And it was just something that came, but it must have been from that Egyptian time from before or something, right?
Well, we know that, I mean, Noah has been an Egyptian, and Egypt just keeps coming up for him over and over and over. We also, I mean, we even had the conversation about that was his activation place, in a previous podcast that we have had on here. So, I mean, that makes sense completely, that you know, that's where he was, and that's
Yeah.
you know, of course people are going to come that were there in that time and meet him in this time, right? Yes. You're excited about that, Noah, huh?
Yeah.
Lots more of them. A lot more coming out, huh? So you guys did rituals together, Noah.
Yep.
Okay. And you're hoping that she comes back. So this is just me talking for him, guys, too. I'm trying to have a conversation with him. So what you're wanting from Cecilia is to, what is that? I don't, okay, hang on here. I got to look on my little computer here. I want to see if I can figure out where. Okay. Oh, it is placed. Okay. So they met in Quebec. Well, this keeps talking about Canada though, but he was saying they come from Quebec. In Canada, Noah?
Canada. Huh.
So you guys went from Quebec to Cairo and then worked there. This was a while ago. That is some traveling. So there is something. I'll have to look and see if there's anything I can find, or maybe she'll.
I just have to show his face up close, because he is just the cutest. He's got
I can
things
see
going
that. I
on.
know. He's like, we did rituals from Quebec, but he's showing me on the boats that we did it and it affected all of the seas, and we landed in Egypt. And in Egypt, because we did so well in Canada all the way to the seas, we landed in Egypt, ended up in Egypt there, Cairo, Egypt specifically. And while they were in Cairo, they started doing the rituals there that actually brought peace to the people, and also appease the gods, so that they weren't so aggressive towards the people or angry towards the people. But he's saying we fed both the gods and both of the humans there, and that was our final landing spot. But they did so well there, like really well there. Ended up passing there, but both of them I see passing of old age, and a big guru. Yeah. So would really like to start doing those rituals again. So it would be really nice for him to work with her and figure out what that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Julio, that's pretty neat, Noah. Well,
Yeah.
no wonder why you were so excited to meet her then. It was your long lost friend, huh? You guys did a lot of work together. That's really cool. Awesome.
Yeah, she said it felt very familiar, and it was just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did some real journeying together. That's some real, that's a lot of journey.
Oh, yeah. In her dream, she said she could feel the sand. She could feel all that. And it just felt like memories, and just really cool. So yeah, she's going to have a pretty long podcast when she joins us. It was exciting. She was excited. And Noah was excited. Yeah.
Well, let's answer one of our people's questions here. Do you still have that pulled up by chance or not?
Let me look up the astrology one. Let's see. Can I find it here?
All right, so we will get that question going.
There it is. Let's see. A lot of people have put faith and weight on their astrological natal charts. Let's see. Something like, what does all matter if we're all part of bigger cosmoses? Is that the question you wanted to answer, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
or do I need to pay attention to my astrological signs from past planets I was on and the planet I'm on now? There's a lot of kind of details in here too.
You just want to read the whole thing out?
Yeah, okay, it's long. I have a lot of questions about astrology. A lot of people put a lot of faith and weight on their astrological natal charts. People base their whole lives on what their sun, moon, rising, Chiron, etc. signs are. I guess I don't know how to put this all into words and what I'm trying to ask, but it's something like, what does it all matter anyway if we're all part of the bigger cosmos? For example, let's say my soul came from another planet and now in a different solar system. Now I'm here on this planet and in this solar system. Does any of it really matter? Or do I need to pay attention to my astrological signs from past planets I was on and the planet I'm on now? It's all just mind-blowing, a big wormhole my mind goes through when I think about it. People use the exact time of birth to figure out these intricate natal charts. I don't know my exact time of birth, so I don't have a fancy chart. Do I need to figure this stuff out? Will it help me with my spiritual growth, or does any of it really make a difference? Also, some people are talking about the Jupiter and Neptune aligning in the sign of Pisces. Is this a really big deal? I know it's cool scientifically, but spiritually, does it mean anything? And I think a lot of us are in that same boat because we've met some people that are big into astrology. And I think Noah downloaded a friend's brain the other day. And so I know he knows, but I'm sitting there kind of scratching my head and where I'm like, what is my sign?
Okay, so there's a lot of things in that for sure. So let's answer what we can. And I'm bringing out my handy dandy little stuff here. Okay, so first off, and if we think of life, like we think of when we come to this world and when we leave, there is a certain graph. So if you think of like, I know guys, we all said we wouldn't use it, but we're actually going to use it. The XY graph that we had when we were, in school back in the days. Okay, so everywhere that we land, first off, is going to have a little bit of a place on the graph. So let's say every planet there's a longitude and latitude for, okay? And then as we come into this earth, so let's say that we're preparing our spirit, okay? When we go prior to this earth, prior to being here, and we decide that we want to be here, we have to choose the time that we're coming in. We have to choose the place that we're coming in. Why that is so important is that it does need to be marked on the conscious graph. So when I am coming into this world, my longitude and latitude and time, and actually they have not done a study on this yet, but I will tell you that the pressure of the universe and the moon of the universe when you come in is huge, and should be taken into consideration too. But nobody's done those studies yet, but it definitely says something about us. So the moon is important because that is the light spectrums that we're coming into. And I do want to say this about the moon, that we have so many people that are resignating and going to the full moon. Now, one thing about the moon is I have to say this. I've done a ton of scientific research, and I will tell you that when we are in the full moon, that it is a reverse magnetism. Okay, so the tides are going to go in, people are going to act a little bit different, even our body is going to act different. This is why people kind of go crazy on a full moon. Didn't ever really believe it when I was growing up until I was a nurse. And let me tell you, working chemical dependency or the Alzheimer's or behavioral units or
special ed classes. Those were,
the mental illnesses. Oh, yep, yes. Full moon is coming and it is a thing. But what happens is when the full moon happens, it actually puts everything in reverse. So you're putting your crystals, you're putting everything in there, you're reversing them. You're reversing that energy. It's actually not healthy. Align things to the moon that you came in, because it is going to be the light spectrum that you came in at. So just go Google and write the date that you were born, if you know it. And it'll tell you the moon that is there. So like I'm a wanting crescent. So I will charge my body and my crystals or anything that I want charged specifically to the energy that best fits with me. And it also is energy that is conducive to the pressurization of what my body feels best at. Now, the longitude and latitude of where we were born is very important, just because, you know, as I said, here we have our little XY. Well, we have a ton of different light rays that are coming in from all over the place. And depending on where the moon and the sun was, if the moon or sun was up, you're going to be catching those different light rays. Well, in the longitude and latitude that we hit on, those fractals of light, yeah, I'm going to say fractals, and all of you out there can tell me that I'm wrong, because I've said fractals before and everyone says that's not a thing. I'm telling you, it's a thing. I got a light microscope and there are shapes in every single light pattern that exists out there. You can't find a light pattern that doesn't have a shape on it. And those fractals were programmed from Creator. So what that is it's a very specific light ray that we drop in on, which is why we know, you know, on the time, the date, and where we were born, we can hone into what was our specific place in the universe at that time, because every single person has a specific place. And in that specific place, we can also see the regions from outside the time and the date that own a certain consciousness. So like Aquarius versus Libra are completely different zodiac signs because they run consciousness. So in saying it, it matters because it will tell you who you are and what you are and why you react in certain ways. But I will also say that it's not something that is exact, because there might be things in there that aren't necessarily to us because of the fact that we were from a different planetary system. And so that planetary system might gain ownership over a certain consciousness prior to. So let's say that I was on planet X here, okay? And then when I come to Earth, I'm going to be planet O, okay? And then let's say that there was a planet E beforehand. Well, if I was happy on planet X and I was a person who really loved people a lot, and I really loved loving people, so all of these little X exhibitors are going to be in my conscious map. Well, I come down to Earth. Well, let's say that on this planet, I really love that about that planet. So in this planet, I'm going to bring an X into here. Now, what that will do is that X that came in before is actually designed in my DNA, and it cannot be changed. So although when I come into this Earth and I check up my astrology will say that I'm an actual introvert and that I don't like being around a lot of people. I like being more independent, but that's not the case here on Earth. So where we were from, all of the planets and the consciousness prior to wherever we are, we take into consideration the things that we like and we don't like about our spot. Now, let's say when I was on planet X, that maybe there was some energy that I didn't like. Let's say it was an X and A, right? Energy. And I didn't like some of those A's or some of those X's that I was stuck with. I'm going to leave those in my conscious mind, but not in the embodiment that I take on. Now, those are different. Because like in the case that we were talking about of your friend, when she came into this Earth, it was a little bit mixed up because she and Noah did something here, but it didn't really, it didn't apply here. So what Noah actually did is he knew, okay, well, she was from planet E, and she was an oracle there because we were in Egypt, right? And we were working and we did a lot of work there. And I know that she knows something because maybe during an astral projection or something, she flipped up over here, had a look into the E because it was still her body, still her consciousness, still the same elements, just a different place on the map. So let's say during an astral projection, during a meditation, during a healing, whatever, she got to go to that place where she went into this Egyptian self and thought, oh my gosh, I'm an oracle. Well, now that she came back into this world, she really liked herself as that oracle. So she brought it back into our earthly spectrums. It was in her consciousness, but it wasn't part of her DNA or part of her rhythm. So when Noah tapped into her, what Noah did was say, oh yeah, I see. You got your little E here. Were you there? Yep. Facts check out. You were in that universe, and you did leave that part of you behind, but you also did experience that. So he encoded her. So now in this life, she now is that oracle again, and she's in this life. And so all of that stuff is brought together in this old life. So now in this life, she brings codes of, I know we kind of mix them, but let's say we even mix them. Let's say that we're talking about the same person the whole time. Every single place that you go, you have access to at all given times. You never actually left there. We might think we left there because here we are in this body, right? But we didn't. Our energies still exist on every single planetary system, every universe, every conscious place that we have ever been. And it is written in our consciousness, just not maybe written in our physical form as we see it. But thinking about it, acknowledging it, exploring it, allows you to at least bring those energies. So now let's say that you're somebody like Adriana, okay? So Adriana loves to do this. She gets bored as heck in one place. So she is not going to be sitting in this world that is just an old world. She couldn't do it. So she often visits NEXABNF. So when you see Adriana is still dimensionally in all of these different places. So if I were to look at her blood and her DNA and everything, it would actually not match, hence autism, right? And this is a lot of what autism looks like. It wouldn't match normal DNA or normal coding because it brought in so many different codes from other universes that it actually wouldn't fit into this, nor would they be 100% integrated into this world. Instead, she has the ability to go to all of these different worlds. So yes, astrology is important. If you want to know the basis of somebody, you want to know like, okay, this is the basics. This is how they should act. This is what their personality is going to be like. This is how they're going to be. Then yeah, use it as a reference. I mean, it's a great reference. Is it absolute truth? Not for everybody. Is it an absolute, like, I need this? No, you can figure yourself out. And there's other studies out there. There's numerology, there's calibarians. There is the astrology. There's so many other things that you can look into if you want to know who you are. But at the basic, if you meditate enough and you take acknowledgement of how you're feeling, what you're going through, and how you react and how you act on things, you're going to know yourself to know better than this astrology. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to know. It's cool to look up. But at the same time, you could change at any given point in time. You could have been born in Aquarius, but maybe you lived 9 lives before as a Libra. So you might see your astrology and it might be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'm kind of that. But you might actually fit better into a Libra. And here we go into the sun and the moon and the cusps and all of that kind of stuff too, that we aren't just one thing. We are a lot of different things. My advice to you would be put in the information that you can get, look it up, but do some soul searching. And I'm sure you're going to find a lot of information there. What did Noah have to say? I saw him writing on the board there.
Well, all of a sudden I had an aha moment, and I'm thinking, you know, I said, my people, they're the ones with the movement differences. And I'm thinking, Adriana has the movement differences. And then she'll stop and you see her jumping. It's like, those are the people that are going to all those multiple dimensions or all those different places. And then you have Noah, which is a movement difference, but his is slower and going. So he's just, it's the same, but different and going a different route. And he's like, yes, mom, brilliant. So at least I'm on the right track on figuring this out, because it's like, yes, they're definitely multidimensional and I'm learning more about it. But yeah, now I'm seeing, but I need those visuals, and it's like, that's it. So when you see people doing that, rocking back and forth, it's like they're hopping dimensions. If you see them walking back and, you know, backwards or hand flapping, yes, those are our people.
Or bringing themselves back. So what they're
Yeah.
doing in that repetitive moment is actually holding space. And this is my rhythm. This is where I need to go. Because if your body's moving, if you're have repetitive words, that is very tied to you. It's like an anchor, and it holds your boat in place. When they're going in their worlds and their universes, that actually is holding their space. When they're rocking back and forth, sets a rhythm that says, I'm still here, I'm still present. So their body is actually putting out an energetic rhythm that we can't see. That would be much like if you threw a rock in the ocean that said, I'm here, but it holds place so that other entities and other subjects or ghosts or things aren't jumping into their body while they are going interdimensionally.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that makes so much sense, because Adriana, Saturday and Sunday, nonstop with a voice. But it was a nice level. It wasn't a screaming autism thing. It was, you know, some of it was songs, you know, different tones and pitches. And James was able to explain that. But as she kept going, there was no behavior, no bad, you know, not that it's bad behavior, but she'll get overwhelmed and she'll get loud and do that. Not one instance of that at all. And you're right. Anytime she would have been silent and not moving, that's when something would be kind of an issue, like an entity would come in. And that's how it started with Noah that time, you know, in the very beginning 2 years ago. And then that hasn't happened anymore. So that's just making so much sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Same with us, you know, when we get overexcited. I mean, think about when we get overexcited about anything. A lot of, and I mean like angry, or maybe we're in shock, or maybe we're super in love, or joyful, whatever it is. When that impact happens, when that moment happens, a lot, for the most part, we don't stay still.
Yeah.
We get animated. Our hands get more going. Our faces get going more. I know me, I totally shake my butt like a dog when I get excited. I don't know what it is, but I do a little like, yay. Or when I get mad, my whole body shakes. I just have the shakes all over. And that's because that energy needs to move somewhere. And because we are so in the moment, on those moments when it's just impact of change, sometimes our spirit wants to go. Good or bad, our spirit's like, woo, where our body is here. So our body's actually compensating for the calibration of our spirit and our mind and our body to meet up, so that we can have harmonization. And Noah is saying, yes, that actually used to happen to me quite often, but I have really gotten very good at holding my body. And he's showing different parts, even in places, to know before I like, okay, I'm going to go here, but maybe I don't want to go there. So he bites a lip, and then that won't allow him into that universe. And we got to talk about everything and with the movie that we saw. We got to go see that, and we got to do everywhere and everything all at once. Yes, we definitely got to talk about that, because, you know, in that movie, they did crazy things. Like, eat sand, or just stuff that you put your shoes on backwards that you wouldn't do or that we would do maybe like we did as kids. Or I know autism does a lot, like pick
Yes.
is a thing of just like, let's do this stuff. And it actually would flip them into a different universe. So that was really interesting, because Noah was just showing me that, oh, I know before I'm going to leave. So now I can do things like if I bite my lip, I'm not going to this place because I can't be there if I'm biting my lip, or he's doing different movements. I will say too, that body placement, and Noah does this so well. He micromanages just the best. And I didn't understand when I was there what he was doing, but he kept putting his whole arm against my chest and under my chin. And he'd put his whole arm there and leave it. And then he kept messing with my mouth. Well, as some of you know, I do have a growth in my adrenal right now that is stopping different hormonal things and whatnot from functioning the best. Well, I didn't know that I was not getting oxygen. And I didn't know that until I got home, is that I wasn't breathing correctly. And he kept looking at my mouth. And I do know that whatever he was doing, I remember he kept telling me, take a breath in through your mouth, because I'm a nose breather. And I was breathing in through my mouth. And I remember thinking with him, wow, I can breathe. So I've been trying to do that more. But Noah was actually showing me, Melissa, you're not getting the most amount of energy that you can get because my body wasn't placed right. I didn't have my mouth open the way that I needed it. It might have been open a little bit, or I was tucking my chin in and he was showing me to tuck your chin out. And now mine was very physical. We can say like, yeah, my oxygen levels dropped, and and I know Noah was catching all my hormonal stuff that was going on when I was visiting you guys. And so now I know, and actually when my oxygen dropped, I did do what Noah did. I thought, okay, he's got his arm under here, tuck my chin in a little bit, drop my mouth, and okay. And my oxygen went right back up. It just went right back up like that. And that was just him showing like, be a little bit more present about the body so that you can intake everything that the body needs too. And I know that interdimensionally, he does a lot of little things too, that when he's doing energy work on me, I mean, he'll take my toes and he'll just spread them a little bit, maybe 1 centimeter or something, and then point one toe forward and point one toe back. And I'm out of here. Like, I am not in this world. I am in a whole nother planetary system. And we're having a conversation we couldn't even have here. So learn your body, learn yourself, because it's little ticks here and there that can keep us holding our space or functioning different, I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. How well he works and how well he sees other people work too. So thank you for that, Noah.
You're gonna come say hi again?
So I can shoot it over to you. There you go.
Hi, Adriana. Adriana, you're saying the same thing. That's why you sit a lot, so that you can in the same area. She says, yes, I know how I function in this world.
Uh-huh.
And I hold my space, but not as well as Noah though.
Yeah.
Noah does pretty well. He does well of going in between and out. Yeah. So I hope that helps a little bit, but yeah, I mean, where you were in your different planets, does it matter? I mean, yeah, it does, but it doesn't. Just because we can go there, we can hold information there, but that's where we learned from. And that's where you see a lot of aliens today walking around, or a lot of people that came from a different planet. They have no idea what they're doing in this world. They have been, this Earth is pretty new. I mean, we are pretty new on the spiritual realm. And we still haven't even learned how to function. We haven't learned how to work together, how to iron things out well, how to work with the earth. I mean, we have a lot to learn. And fortunately and unfortunately, a lot of people came from other planets that are very well working units. Like Noah and Adriana, they're definitely not from this earth. When we can tell that their masterminds are in a different planetary system, and they came here to watch, observe, and teach people of Earth a different way of living that is more conducive for the whole, so that not only humanity can get its best, but Noah and Adriana, all the humans can, but Noah also likes to work with Earth, where Adriana likes to work with the animals, and those are things that are going to be impacted too. So having that knowledge to know, okay, something's not right here. This is not the way that things should function and living things should be towards each other. And there is a better way. Having that acknowledgement of other planetary systems so that we can present that into this world is huge. Yeah. What else you got for us, Noah? Anything?
Nope.
I'm going to bring the board out here and
Yes.
see what he has to say. So he's typing on his communication board right now with his mom. And had just the biggest smile on his face. Just a great big smile.
He said, Mom's good now. Cool. I'm happy. He was worried about me for a while. So it's like, yeah, I'm catching on. It takes me a while. Teach old dogs new tricks. I know. Old dogs, old tricks. He like that. Old dogs, old tricks. Yeah.
Good, Noah. I'm glad. Funny. Okay.
So Adriana was just flipping through the calendar. She's like, come on, we got to add more dates. So
yes,
I think I'll probably write that on. I'll go ahead and write out like our outline. And then when we go to Minnesota, it's like, okay, stops along the way. Or if we end up in Tennessee, stops along the way.
Oh, I'll go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm all about Tennessee.
Yep.
Fun. All right. Well, then I guess that would conclude today's show. As I said, we'll be looking for other guests. We do need to do kind of an evaluation or a review on a movie that we saw. We want to tell you guys about that day too.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to have to go see it. She took my children and saw a movie without me.
Hey, now your kids asked that you didn't come. I just have to say that it wasn't like
being with their friends, especially those that can communicate directly with them. So we are gradually, actually not even gradually anymore. We are quickly finding new friends in different cities. And that's why we're going to be traveling, meeting new friends and doing more Facebook Lives, things like that. Right? Yeah. That's a double thumbs up.
Well, and we're going on a vacation together. So I don't know. Noah keeps coming in and asking where we're going on vacation together. But Noah and Adriana want to go with their friends and have you and Joe. So I don't know if that's going to be Pyro, if you guys are coming to that, or he just wants to go, but he is really excited. And I know me and Caitlin and Trisha will be there for sure. I
think we're planning to go because it's actually close enough to some of Joe's family. We can visit, they can stay out late, Good.
Yeah. It's going to be really fun. I'm excited. So, okay, guys. Follow us on, we got TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. Come hook up with us, guys. Be a part of our little team here. And we're getting back into the groove. Once again, sorry we took off all that time, but we're back and we're ready to go. So, remember to spread your word. Keep sharing all that information, to be real, be kind. You know, I'd want to say be positive, but we have those days where we got to be negative too. So make sure you're just being kind and doing what's best for the whole. Get your word and your truth out there, guys. Yep, that's all you got to do. Talk and show up. Right, Noah? Just show up. That's
Yeah.
his. That's his new thing. But otherwise, we will see you guys on the next show. Love you much. Take care and always
Bye.
be you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, we're gonna dance.
Yeah, dance party.
Dance. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. Bye, guys.